What's up, guys? My name is Kevin. Welcome to my YouTube channel I like to call Let's Fix Junk. Behind me, as you can see, we have my car I like to call the El Camino. We recently just got back from Bradenton and had taken this down to the Freedom Factory to compete in the Burnout Rivals Open class. It was my first event running this car. I've been daily driving it all winter, just kind of finding some bugs in it and putting some miles on it, but this is my first event on a concrete pad trying to do burnouts. Before we had gone, I had turned a pump up in the car, try to get a little bit more power out of it, and it's now able to slip the clutch that's in the car. It's on a South Bend single, supposedly rated for 450, but it's got a lot of abuse on it already. So we had slipped the clutch, had like no wheel speed, started in third, dumped the fourth, banged the fourth, and I don't know, maybe 40, 50 miles an hour wheel speed, if that, like no smoke. But the main issue was that we had blown a power steering line when I had dumped the clutch, and this car runs a hydro boost. So the entire time I'm driving, I'm slowly losing brakes. And I could not slow the car down, and we ended up clipping the wall on it pretty good. Kinked the frame on it over here. So this is going to be the rebuild and improvement of the El Cummino. The car is a Cummins swapped El Camino, runs a 94 12 valve to kind of a bastard child NV 4500, going to a Ford 9-inch in the back built by Quick Performance on a 275 rear gear. Been running on the stock front suspension for way too long. It's bone stock besides a 94 Lincoln Town Car front spring. My ball joints are literally welded in place just from the weight of the engine, so going to be doing some much needed suspension upgrades finally. And the new car that we had purchased is actually an El Camino SS with a full power interior, body kit, all that. So we're going to swap the entirety of that interior and the front end of this car. I think it's going to work out pretty well. I've had a little bit of rust on my driver's side frame rail, so not really mad about the damage at all. I brought the car there to break it, just didn't break it in the way that I wanted to. So I have the new frame that I just picked up. Paid $250 for it. It's a pretty clean frame. It's got a little bit of rust on the body mounts as they usually do, but it's nice around the steering box and everything where mine has issues. So the game plan is we're going to cut the frame at the original seam, put it all back together. I mean, these are original G-body welds. They're pretty hilarious frames as they came with from the factory. And behind us we have the donor car, which worked out perfect. It's an 87 El Camino SS 305 200 R4. It's got some rust on the frame. The frame is absolutely clapped, but the body is really not that bad. Supposedly a tree ended up hitting it. I mean, it's pretty obvious a tree ended up hitting it. Damn shame, but it's going to work out nice because now we have a full power interior that we're going to swap into our car. We have all the rest of the trim that we're missing. It's only got 74,000 miles. Look at that. Crazy. So, game plan is we're going to pull the fenders and the front clip off this, maybe put the body kit on my car. And this is now going to be the El Camino SS. So let's get to it, and let's get the body pulled off our car and see all the actual damage. So when I put the car together, I designed it so that the body can come off the car. Power steering lines, brake lines, steering shaft, shifter, clutch slave cylinder, one charger, cooler hose, battery cables, and fuel lines, and the body basically comes right off. So it's really not going to be too bad to pull the body off of it. Pull the body, put it on the trailer outside there, set the frame up on the lift. We're going to use the lift as the frame machine, and we're going to try to get this thing back to drive down the road straight. So I'm going to put you guys on time lapse, and we're going to go ahead and tear this thing apart and see all the damage that we actually have. So that was quite the project to get the front end off. Usually I don't have to remove anything but one radiator hose and the intercooler piping and just drain the coolant. But because it's bent up so much, I had the intercooler piping touching on the front of the block there. So now I can actually see how much it's actually different side to side. I mean, it's bent up a solid 6-7 inches, and you can actually see the kink real good now. Well, like I was saying, this side I had always had some rust that I had kind of plated, and I was planning on eventually tying in better, but this will work out fine. That engine just looks hilarious in there. Alright, so now we have power steering lines, clutch master, battery cables, brake lines, shifter. Gotta pull the back end of the stack off, body mounts, and a couple grounds, and she's off. Alright, we got everything disconnected. I didn't do it on camera, but there was 2 battery cables from inside, and we undid the shifter. So now everything should be off. It should just be a matter of lifting the body off of it. The engine's sitting a little bit crooked from where it used to be, so I think I may have to play a little bit on this side. Let's go ahead and see if we forgot anything. That is the frame of the El Camino. Alright, so we got the body off the car, and preliminarily, it looks like we do have a little bit more of a bend in the frame. To that body mount hole, we are about 1 inch off. Not a big deal, it's a G-body, they flex. So now we're going to go ahead and get the motor out of it, and get the body out on a trailer outside so we can get our lift back. And we're going to set the frame up on the lift and see about getting this front end fixed up. We got the engine out of it now, and we can see the extent of the damage over here. It looks like we may have a little bit of a kink right here, and that's kind of explaining why this rail is pushed backwards. So now we're going to go ahead and pull the frame out, put the engine over in the corner, get the body on a trailer, and get the frame cut apart. Alright guys, so we got the frame back in the shop here, got the body out on the trailer. Game plan is, frame is sitting down in the locks on the first lock, and now we're going to work on getting the rails themselves plumb, both directions level, and then from there I think we can actually do our measurements. But it's pretty obvious the bend in the frame now. We have that cross member there, you can see is definitely pushed back, but once this section of the frame is removed, there's really no reinforcement. So we're just going to work this side of the frame forward until it's back to square. So we're going to get it level and plumb, and then get it cut apart. Alright, so the original game plan of doing it on the lift was not going to be enough. So now we're going to use my frame machine. We have the car frame chained down to my frame. Yours should be completely free over there. I have left on this side is 1 inch on the top.
So are we gonna hold it?
Yeah. I'm gonna whack it too. Sit behind the thing. So as you can see, we did not have it on the lift correctly, but she's in 2 pieces.
Now we dissect all in here, scab in the new one.
Now we're gonna go ahead, got it mostly cut back, and we're just gonna grind these edges down until I can get these pieces out on the inside here, just on both sides. Alright, so that was a little bit of a process, but we now have all this dissected here. Got a little bit more welds to clean up, but we're back down to the original frame. As you can see, we really didn't nick any of the original frames, so the idea is that all the new stuff will just slide back in and we could just put it right back to where it was in the factory. Just gonna do some proper welds on this instead of the original G-bodiness that was on this. Worked out pretty well. And then the game plan is on the tube work, we're gonna cut those back. We're gonna leave them in place. So basically now, we got the old suspension back outside. The only thing I really need out of this is the front springs and the proportioning valve and the steering box. And obviously the wheels. And the rest of this is gonna be scrapped. So the new frame, we're going to dissect the opposite of how we did that one. So we're going to leave our long rails on the short side. So look at those factory G-body welds on that. So we're going to be cutting this piece off of this one. The only real rust that we have on this frame is on the body mounts, and that's pretty normal for these. So I'm going to set you guys back up on the time lapse, and I'm going to go ahead and get all of this plasma cut off so we can get this original rail trimmed back down. Easier to work on now this and half. So I'm gonna get in here with the grinder, I think. We're gonna use a little cutoff wheel and cut all these welds out best we can, trying to leave this piece and this piece original. Alright, well that took some creative ratchet strapping and a lot of prying back and forth. Kind of hard by yourself. My third hand isn't really working that well, but we have the new frame and the old frame. So I'm gonna hook a ratchet strap from this side to suck this one in, that little bit extra, and we're gonna go ahead and try to square it up, see where we line up to. So a little bit of tedious, a little bit of back and forth, and we now have the frame leveled in all planes. Gotten this rail level, that rail level, and both rails level to each other. So now from here, we can get our front set this direction, because our front is squared to the frame, all the body mounts are squared to each other. So now it's just a matter of setting the front here, which will affect our caster, and where our radiator support is going to sit in reference to the hood. So I think we're going to go ahead and set a laser level up, and then from there we can use the laser level to measure down from the frame to set the actual height of what the rails are going to sit at. Is it perfect? No. Is it going to work? Probably. So now I have the frame all set up on the lift. I have it level in both directions, and I have my laser level set up that I'm going to be using to be able to have a reference line to measure off of. So in the front here, going off the body mount, we are just a hair under 5 1/4. From bottom of frame upwards, we are right on 16.5, and it's the same measurement right there. So that is giving us about 11.2 inches of rise from that body mount to this body mount. And I'm going off of one of these charts that they've put out for a Speedway Motors chassis, and I have a measurement here for being able to go from the bottom of the frame rail to the top of this body mount line. So I think that's how we're going to go ahead and do this. So we're going to go ahead and check our diagonals from the rearmost body mount to the front one. So I'm hooked in down there on that rear body mount, and we are right on 124.5, right to the edge of that body mount line. And we are on right on 124.5 on that body mount line. So as of right now, we are squared body mounts from here to there and there to there, and then we're also square from rearwards going forwards. We have 11.2 inches of rise from the bottom of the frame rail to the top of the frame rail here, and the entire frame is sitting on a level plane right now. So I think we're good to measure this or weld this in. Is it going to be perfect? Probably not, but they weren't perfect from the factory, so I think we're in a pretty good spot with this. I think it's going to work. A little bit better than the factory stuff that we're dealing with on here. That should be enough now to just hold this side, and we're just going to double check the other side and make sure we're actually perfect. So I'm going to recheck this in case it's moved, and then move to the other side. Well, I had to pull the frame back outside because I had to get some other work done this week, but we got the whole front end welded. We're going to end up boxing and reinforcing the frame a little bit more. Got a whole bunch of suspension parts and everything else coming for it this week, so next video we're going to be starting to put it back together. So I'll bring you guys back when we're ready to fix more junk. Don't forget to like and subscribe.